Bob, you write more songs than anybody I know, and it sounds like the songs come easy. Do they, or do you have to grind at it?
It's I can't answer the question because it's some of them come really easy. Like some of the best ones are the ones that I like the best. Come really easy, so easy that I'm almost ashamed. And some of the ones that didn't turn out very well take me about 2 years. I find that I'm actually writing less and less. I heard Lightfoot the other day say that he's writing more and more to deadlines. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. But there used to be a time when I was writing, half a dozen songs a week, and now they don't come that fast and they don't come that easy. And I don't know whether I'm sort of using up all the sort of situations that I write songs for or in. But I find myself, writing fewer songs and actually being happier with some. Maybe I'm just getting more discriminating or selective.
You recorded 3 albums in Nashville, and now you finally come home to do one in Canada, so there must be something good to say about Canadian recording. What are the differences?
It's closer. That's one of the reasons why I'm recording it here. Another one of the reasons I'm recording it here is the earlier albums came out of L.A., were recorded in Nashville, but I was dealing with MCA Records in Los Angeles. And now I'm with RCA Victor, and I'm dealing with Toronto, and I had a choice of recording in Toronto or Edmonton, and I chose Edmonton because I really think that the recording industry is really starting to happen here in town. The musicians are here, now the studios are here. I think we always had some good people around, but I think we were handicapped by the fact that we didn't have the kind of recording facilities that could be found in Toronto or LA or Nashville or wherever. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that all the ingredients, all the pieces are here. I think it's a question now of Edmonton gaining the confidence that it deserves at this point, and start to turn out the records I think we're capable of.
I've listened to all the tunes on your past albums, and on the new album I think you sound more confident. There's more personal freedom, it sounds like. It sounds to me like you're getting into your own music with more depth than you ever have. There's more of the real you in there, I think. Do I read that right?
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think that I was more confident recording at home than I was being just sort of dropped off a plane in Nashville and going with people that up until that time, I just read about, and all of a sudden you see that person sitting right next to you and he's playing your song. And I found when I went to Nashville that I wanted to turn every song that I wrote into an instrumental, because I was just so impressed with those players, because they really are fantastic musicians. And there they were, and David Briggs and Charlie McCoy and all these great session people. And I didn't want to sing and interfere with their playing. And the songs that I'm doing on a new album, I think, are a little less slick. The whole backup rhythm section that I have is a little less slick, and the feel is just a little more comfortable. And I think it shows. Several people have mentioned that they think that there seems to be more confidence, at least on my part, in a new album.
One thing too, that this is the first album which you've been really the instrumental figure in producing it. And do you feel more confident producing your own records?
Yeah, I do. Even though I did have some say before, because I wasn't producing the album, the tunes sort of have a tendency to get away from you. And with all those other musicians who I wasn't very familiar with, if they started to do some things that I didn't like, it got kind of difficult sometimes to go and say, no, listen, I don't like that interpretation, or I think you're just a little too heavy here, or a little too light there. And so I just sort of stayed out of that. But now I'm co-producing. I co-produced this album with Gary McDonald, and you get to sort of carry it all the way through. And if you find it getting away on you, or a song that you wrote and you think of it as a slow song, and the musician starts speeding it up, you don't have any qualms about stopping them right there and saying, no, listen, that's not the way the song's supposed to go, now let's try it again. And certainly I've been able to do that more on this album than on any other previous album.
One thing that I already know, and that is that music as a business is not one that enthralls you a great deal. And so I would like to know, where is the greatest satisfaction for you as far as your music is concerned?
Well, the satisfaction comes for me in writing a song and like having that song put together in a studio and hearing all those other musicians play it, and you sit down and like that's your song. That's, I suppose in many respects it's like an architect who's drawn up a blueprint, and then somebody finally builds that house, and he goes out and stands out there in the front lawn and says, hot damn, it did turn out. And that's the way I feel about the music. Where I get a little disenchanted with the music is, like, I find the music part of the music industry exciting. I find the business side of the music industry not so exciting. Like, they don't talk about, I get all excited about my album or somebody else's album, or a lot of little details, cover photographs, the tunes, the way the tunes materialize on the album. And you talk to the record company people, and they talk about it like product, like you were talking to a tractor salesman who was describing parts. In fact, they call it parts. I remember phoning up the head of the record company saying, well, did the album arrive? And he says, yeah, I think the parts are in. And I suppose that they have to sell records, and it's product, it's a business, and if they weren't doing their business as well as they do it, we would never be able to go into the studio and do the things that we want to do that we find are fun. But still, I suppose it's whenever an artistic endeavor becomes a business enterprise, I'm sure that you run into these clashes and these inconsistencies, and I find them a little difficult to get used to.
Most every writer has a particular time or a particular space when they're more likely inspired. When does it happen for you?
I like writing early in the morning. Mornings are a favorite time for me, and I really enjoy on the weekends particularly. I'm so busy during the week, but on the weekends I like to get up really early and just go down in the end room and sit down and play. And I think that most of the tunes that I've written in the last while, I write either early in the morning or late at night. I find that when there's, my wife and son are around the house doing the things that they do, or we're traveling or whenever, I just don't have the time. And so I find the best times are, I guess it's one of the few times when I really get alone. And so early in the morning is the time that I enjoy writing.
Up till now, you really haven't done any live performing, and I would say from the sounds of the new songs in your new album that you'll probably meet more musical success than you've ever had. And what happens when the public demands that you appear? Will you go?
I think that this time I might do some traveling and doing some touring. I have been approached by a couple of people to do sort of small mini tours and in sort of small halls. And I'm overcoming my fear of people. One of the major reasons why I haven't done any touring before is that I just get terrified in front of a live audience. And I'm getting, I've done enough television shows with studio audiences and that sort of thing now that I'm sort of getting used to that. And I think if I could get together some musicians who would want to travel and play, I might try a little bit of it. Not a whole lot of it, but some of it. I think that if this record gets off the ground and people start asking me to go places, I think this time I'll go. In the past, I never have, and maybe I'd like to think that there was all kinds of reasons why the other records weren't as successful as I hope this one's going to be, and maybe the fact that I just came up the Stony Plain and hid was one of the reasons. But this time, I think I might do a little of the other performing and traveling.
Well, I ain't got a job and I ain't got no money. My future's sure looking bleak. I got no place to go and there's no one to know. And I'm cold and I'm tired and I'm weak. Well, I get so downhearted I can't get myself started. I'm tired of living in my dreams, just a standing in the rain, and all I got to my name are these muddy old boots and my jeans. So if everybody's got to leave someplace, find me a better place to be. If everybody's got to meet somebody, then let somebody else be me. Well, I wish I could blame it on some bad luck woman, the demon rum or something like that. Well, I wish I could say it was this, that, or they, but it's only me who's holding me back. Well, it's not ours to choose who win, who lose, who will cry while the other guy grins. But the way things are now, I get the feeling somehow like I'm paying for some